Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. In today's video, I'm going to be talking through a couple player props I do like for tonight's NBA slate on Tuesday, May the 2nd. It is Taco Tuesday, so we'll have to see what tacos we get for today. I think Prizepicks has already put out their poll on Twitter. I don't know what the winner is going to be, but we'll have to see what kind of discounted projection we get today. Usually, every Tuesday, we do get 3 discounted projections throughout the day. Prizepicks does this every Tuesday. They've been doing it for a while now, so it's one of the reasons you guys should definitely be playing on Prizepicks. If you're not signed up for Prizepicks yet, again, you can sign up. You can use my promo code Noah. Do look at the bottom of the screen. When you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code, you will get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you sign up with my code. But I got 2 plays I like for tonight's 2-game slate. We got Game 2 of the Knicks and Heat series, and then we got the Lakers and Warriors series starting tonight. That should be a fun one. I do have a play from each game that I like. I have an under and I have an over. So 2 picks. We're going to talk through these 2 plays, guys, share why I like them. Before we do get started, though, as always, if you guys do enjoy these Prizepicks videos, if they help you out, make sure you hit that like button down below, hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys want more Prizepicks plays from me, I do provide those over on Patreon. If these YouTube videos really help you out, you want more plays from me, each play I give out over on Patreon, I do give a full write-up for. I usually give out, usually like 1 or 2 additional NBA plays, and then I also give out a couple MLB plays I like over on Patreon. You can check those out if you are interested. But I do want to recap our 2 plays from yesterday before we do talk through today's play. So yesterday we gave out 2 picks. Unfortunately, both of our picks did not hit. Only one of them hit, so we did not cash our 2-pick entry. We did hit the over on Tobias Harris's points. That was one of the plays that did hit for us. We took his over 16.5 points, and I think he finished with 18 points. It was a little bit of a sweat. Harris had like 11 points in the first half. Things were looking pretty good, and then he didn't do much in the second half, especially in the third quarter. I think he only scored 2 points the entire third quarter, and then he finally scored like 5 points in the final few minutes, went over his points prop. So luckily we did hit that play, but unfortunately Kevin Durant, we took his over fantasy score, and KD came up like I think 4 points short. We took over 48.5. He finished with I think 45 fantasy points, and he finished with 45 fantasy points while shooting 10 for 27. Just crazy, man. He missed 17 shots. He missed a ton of threes. I think he shot like 2 for 10 or 2 for 11 from 3. It was a really, really inefficient shooting game from KD, which is something we normally never see. I mean, KD's always been one of the most efficient scorers, but just the efficiency was really bad on Monday night. Unfortunately, came up just short of his fantasy score. But man, if you would have told me before the game started that Kevin Durant was going to take 27 shots, he was going to play 43 minutes? I think that's what he played Monday. If you told me before the game started he was going to play that many minutes, take that many shots, I would have said for sure he goes over his fantasy score. But was one of those just weird games where Kevin Durant was really inefficient, which again rarely happens. So that was tough to lose that one. Felt like we definitely should have hit that KD play, but we've still been doing really well the last few days with these YouTube plays, with our Prizepicks plays. I think over our last 5 videos, our last 10 picks, pretty sure we're 8-2 over our last 10 picks. So been on a nice little run, and hopefully we can try and keep that going. Hopefully cash both of our plays today. But let's talk through them. So first play I do like in this Heat and Knicks game is actually going to be an under. And I'm looking at RJ Barrett's fantasy score, 34.5, and I like the under here for RJ Barrett. I think a lot of RJ Barrett's props today are a little bit inflated because Julius Randle is questionable, and we did see RJ Barrett have a really big game last game with Randle out. He went well over this fantasy score line. He put up 46.3 fantasy points. He went over like a lot of his props. His points prop, he had 26 points. He grabbed 9 rebounds. I think he even had 7 assists, which that's one thing that Barrett definitely so far this season in terms of fantasy point production. He's not really been a guy that contributes a ton with peripheral stats when it comes to rebounding, assists, defensive stats. He doesn't really get a lot of those. He's kind of a scoring dependent player. Now last game obviously he did get 9 rebounds, 7 assists. He did have a steal, but I mean you see a lot of games this season against Cleveland. It was game 4 against Cleveland. I mean, he played 37 minutes. He had 26 points, and he still went under his fantasy score line because he only had 2 rebounds, he only had 1 assist, and he had 1 block. Usually he doesn't get a ton of defensive stats, and usually he doesn't contribute too much with rebounds and assists. Maybe he'll grab 4 or 5 rebounds, maybe he'll get 2 or 3 assists, but that's usually it. The 9 rebounds, 7 assists he got last game, I think, was definitely a little bit of an outlier. And you could say those numbers did get boosted because Randle was out. And I think personally, this is just my opinion. I'm expecting Julius Randle to play tonight. I think Randle was pretty close to playing last game. They ruled him out like 30 minutes before the game started, or maybe like an hour before the game started. I'm pretty sure he went through like his warm-ups and everything, just wasn't quite ready. With a day off in between Sunday's game and today's game, I think Randall's got a good chance of coming back here, especially since the Knicks lost game 1 of this series. I mean, they're already down a game today, so you would think they definitely want to get this one at home. And if Randall does play today, I'm expecting all of Barrett's lines will get bumped down. It's just a matter of when that news comes. If you want to try and wait until that news officially hits, you could, but Prizepicks is going to be very quick to remove these props. As soon as the Randall news comes in, whether he gets ruled in or out, they're going to take these Knicks props off the board in probably 10, 15 seconds. So you'd have to be super, super quick. I personally am just going to play the under here, and by some chance, if Julius Randall does play, I don't think we're like drawing dead here with the Barrett under. Like, I could definitely see Barrett still going under this line, even if Randall is out. Now, Brunson is also questionable. I would be very surprised if both Brunson and Randall don't play. Like, if that happens, obviously we're probably fucked, but I would be very surprised if that happens. I think there's a very good chance both Brunson and Randall play. I think there's a very good chance at least one of them plays. I would be highly surprised if both of them sit. And if Randall and Brunson are both in, I feel like this RJ Barrett fantasy score line is like 3-4 points too high. I think the line's kind of inflated just because just because Randall is questionable and because Barrett's coming off a big game. But we've seen Barrett, again, this season, his minutes have not been like super secure. He's been playing about 30, 32 minutes a night in the playoffs. Last game, he did get up to 40 minutes, but I think he only played so many minutes for one because he was playing well, but also just because they were without Randall and they needed more offense. We saw during that Cleveland series, I mean, he didn't go over this line a single game in that Cleveland series, and his minutes in that Cleveland series weren't as high, 31, 33, 31, and then he did play 37, 36 minutes. Even if Barrett does get 36, 37 minutes here, I don't think it's a guarantee that he goes over this fantasy score line. I mean, you look at his points per minute this season, I mean, Barrett's only averaged 0.87 fantasy points per minute this season. He would obviously get a boost if there's no Randall, but I think there's a good chance Randall does return tonight. And again, if he does, I think this RJ Barrett under is going to look pretty solid. Even if Randall does sit out again, I don't think we're drawing dead with this Barrett under. So that's the first play I do like for today. Is going to be RJ Barrett less than 34.5 fantasy score. And then another fantasy score prop I like in the other game, the Lakers-Warriors game, taking a look at Kevon Looney's fantasy score of 31. And I like the over here for Kevon Looney. We saw Kevon Looney play really, really well in their series against the Kings. I'm pretty sure he went over this line in 6 out of 7 games, if I remember correctly. I think there was only one game, and it was game 6 of this series where he played 27.5 minutes, had 28 fantasy points. Pretty sure he did get subbed out early in that game because it was a blowout. And it looks like he did. So he did go under this line in the first 2 games in the series. Had 27 fantasy points in 32 minutes, had 17 fantasy points in just 23 minutes. He did have 5 fouls in both those games, so he might have been limited a little bit by foul trouble. But then over their last 5 games, I mean, you see how productive he's been. The minutes have been really good for Kevon Looney as well so far in the playoffs, and I think that's what really stands out to me. I mean, Kevon Looney during the regular season, he would only play like 24, 25 minutes a night, even when he was starting. That's definitely not been the case in the playoffs. Last game, 31 minutes. The game before that, 27.5 minutes, but I'm pretty sure he did get subbed out early in that one because it was a blowout. 34.5 minutes, 32 minutes, 31 minutes. If we're getting 30-plus minutes from Kevon Looney here, I really like this over 31 fantasy score. Kevon Looney is a productive player when he does get minutes. You look at his fantasy points per minute this season, he's averaged well over a fantasy point per minute. He's averaged 1.05 fantasy points per minute, and I'm pretty sure so far in the playoffs, his per minute production has been even better than it was in the regular season. He's a really, really good rebounder. He gets a lot of putbacks. He's not going to really score a ton, but he's going to grab a ton of boards. He can get some assists. He can get defensive stats as well, which is huge because if you do get any defensive stats, those are worth 3 points each. I was looking at a lot of Looney's props. Like I was looking at his rebound prop. I was looking at his like rebounds plus assists, but they do have rebounds plus assist up. I was debating taking like rebounds plus assist or fantasy score just because when he is out there, a lot of Looney's production is going to come from rebounding, from putbacks, but he can get defensive stats as well, which is one of the reasons I do like fantasy score. There will be games where Looney gets like 2 or 3 blocks, a couple steals, and if he has one of those games, very good chance he's going to go over this fantasy score line because he's going to grab so many boards. He's going to get some points around the rim, going to get some assists as well. But like you look at his like game log lately, 11 points, 21 rebounds, 4 assists, 7 points, 13 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 4 points, 22 rebounds. Like he's been rebounding a ton. We'll have to see, in this series against the Lakers. is his rebounding numbers going to come down, fighting for Anthony Davis or fighting with Anthony Davis for rebounds? Like, there's a chance maybe his rebounding numbers come down a little bit, but he can still score around the rim. He can still get assists as well, and he can still get those defensive stats. And just overall, Looney has been a fantasy point per minute player. He's been playing 30-plus minutes in the playoffs. If we get 30-plus minutes from him tonight, I feel pretty good about him going over this fantasy score line. If you do look just over like his last 15 games, playing 30-plus minutes, these are his fantasy score numbers when he's played 30-plus minutes. 47, 42.4, 34.6, 38.4, 46, 53.7, 31.5, 22.4, 27.8, 42.5, 37.8, 42.9, 42.2. So basically over his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Last 13 games where he's seen at least 30 minutes, including the playoffs, Looney's over this fantasy score line, and I believe 11 out of 13 games. There was only 2 games over his last 13 where he did not get over this fantasy score line in 30 minutes, and it was against Minnesota, played 30 minutes, had 22.4 fantasy, and then against Sacramento, there was a game in that Sacramento series, he played 32 minutes and had 27.8 fantasy points. But every other game, he's been over this fantasy score line. And like I said, Looney, a good per minute producer. The minutes have been strong in the playoffs. I think they will continue to be strong in this series. They're going to need his size against Anthony Davis. So hopefully he can avoid foul trouble. If he does avoid foul trouble, feel pretty good about Looney going over 31.5 fantasy scores. So these are the 2 picks I like for this Tuesday night slate, guys. RJ Barrett, less than 34.5 fantasy score. Hope Julius Randle doesn't play, even if he does. I hope Julius Randle does play, but even if he doesn't, I still think this Barrett under looks fine. I think it's still a play we could definitely take. And then Kevon Looney over 31.5 fantasy score is the other play that I like. But these are 2 picks I like, kind of taking a first look at the board right now when I'm recording this video. But again, I'll be sharing some more plays for today over on Patreon. If you guys want access to those, you can check out the Patreon linked down below in the description. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Appreciate you watching. Hit that like button. If you guys did enjoy, hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And be sure to go check out Prizepicks as well. If you have not signed up for Prizepicks yet, you can sign up and use my promo code NOAH. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. So be sure to check out Prizepicks if you guys have not yet. But that's all that I got for tonight. Wish you the best of luck on the slate, guys. Hopefully we can all win some money tonight, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.